Everybody want to know what it was like living in a Robert Taylor project housing during the 90s, right? 80s and 90s, right? You know what I'm saying? What was it like during that time period?
See, growing up in the projects, man, it didn't seem as bad to us.
Right.
As you got older, it was bad, man. Gang infested, drug infested.
Because people say it's certain buildings for certain gangs.
Yeah, so you want to know mental illness, man. You had it all up in that motherfucker, man. The lowest of the low, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the buildings were separated by gangs after a certain period of time. You got to realize in the 80s, it wasn't that many gangs.
Mm-hmm.
The factions of the gangs broke off when BDs, GDs, and BGs was all one. It was BGDN.
Right.
So it wasn't no separation. The vice lords then travelers, conservative. They was just vice lord.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? The first faction break off probably was Mickey Cobras from the Stones. Now they controlled what we call the hole. They wasn't Stones in the hole. They was MC.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
That maintained the same. They never deviated. They was MCs then. They was MCs to the day that motherfucker closed down. But in 1990, 91, when the shit kicked off, when the GDs and the BDs, that's where the problem started. Before then, it was cool. Everybody rode up under the six. It was cool. But around that 90, 91 mark, I think the war trickled down from Inglewood. And that war came from, like, I think, Lil Durk father, Big Durk,
Mm-hmm.
selling dope, and the BDs wanted to take some land when they divvied up, when the Penn and Shorty Freeman, all of them separated and said, you take this, you take that, you take that. And that was the problem. They came from the drug, and the war kicked off because Big Durk now didn't want to move off their shit. So then when that was BD, GD war, and it festered through the whole city at that point. And then Robert Taylor's, it was on.
And Taylor's, it was going to get BD building, GD building, and stuff like that.
Man. Motherfuckers was too close, man. So you can hide on them blocks. You can't relocate where you live in them buildings.
Nah.
It's one way in, one way out. Breezeway front. It's a motherfucker, man.
I heard this dude,
Cowboys
man.
and Indians, nigga.
I heard this dude say, what's his name? Nathaniel Mary Quinn. He's an artist, and he talked about how he lived. He was, I think he's from a GD building, but he had to pass the BD building to get to his building.
Yeah.
And they like, man, that's like a video game. You only gonna pass so many times before you get to run it to static.
Nigga, if I was a rapper, nigga, I'd make a song called The Fire Lane, nigga. Every nigga from that area know about that fire lane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Project set on Federal. Federal was a street.
Right.
So
back end on Federal, front on state.
Front of all the buildings.
Back end on state, front end on Federal.
No. The front is facing state.
Facing state is
The
front.
back is
Well, we always came in on Federal end though.
Right, because that's closer to the building. Building is closer to the Federal side.
You're right.
Right? So we called it 5041 South Federal.
Right.
But they didn't have a front street to get to the building quick. So it's a fire lane that rolls through in front of every building, the fire lane.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
State Street, fire lane, Federal. So if you had a fire, the fire department got to come through that fire lane. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So everybody know about that fire lane. That was the street for niggas. Niggas walk down the fire lane.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas had all these trolleys right there. You had the shopping center right there. Niggas walked that fire lane. And when the buildings separated, war zone, nigga.
Yeah.
It was a war zone. When the BDs had the connection with the Mexicans getting that dope. That's what made them strong.
Jesus. So that's
what made them strong. Because in my eyes, and many other niggas' eyes, that's why you hear the young niggas saying, it's funny, they always GDs before they was all the same. You get what I'm saying? To see a nigga break off, but that money came into play when the BDs got the connection with the Mexicans was getting that good old that A1 Yola. They ain't want to get the folks no Yola. You know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of problem come from.
Mm-hmm.
That dope game, it all going back to that dope game. Nigga, you got the butter, because from street shit you don't want to sell to the folks.
Yeah.
That's what happened, yeah.
And then it create chaos within the projects where y'all living at.
Y'all the young niggas out here, they kill me with this. Young generation, man, I love them. I ain't gonna never shit on them. But that folk them, let me tell you something. Stop trying to rewrite history. It's always folks now.
Right.
Folks now. Now you want to say folk them because you ain't folks. It's folks now. That's the saying.
Mm-hmm.
Folks now. I don't know what the folk them come from. That's that new folk them. Now it's folks now.
Mm-hmm.
You so used to saying it, folks now. Like a motherfucker ain't crip saying cuz. He's gonna come out his mouth. So I'm like, what up, cuz? It's just like that.
Right.
It's going right off the tip of your tongue, folks now. Folk now. You trying to rewrite history, nigga.
Right. You know what I mean? So what was that? Y'all didn't. You was young at the time, so you didn't feel like you had that didn't create any static for you at that point growing up.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Because at that time we were living in the hundreds, but I used to go back to the projects all the time.
Right.
Going to King, going by my
Auntie them living in there. Auntie them still in there. Right.
Yeah. So we was 12, 13 with little 32s with 2 bullets in it.
So
It is what it is.
I say to say this. We talk about like how gang politics was so heavy at that time. People say you couldn't walk over that 6-point star on the ground. You couldn't have your earring.
I don't know about the stars and shit on the ground. Things haven't. They didn't have the level of disrespect, the pettiness that today is.
Right.
It's petty. You know what I'm saying? It's some real petty shit now. But earrings is true.
Earrings.
So in my coming up, if you had 2 earrings, you would consider a faggot. Now, if you had earring in your left, you rolling with the 5. You had earring in your ear, you folks.
Tell my mama I'm coming, okay? She calling my phone.
And that's what it was. You know what I mean? So either way, niggas trying to identify niggas any way they can, you know? The color scheme, or he got on this, he got on that. Where you from? Who you roll with? Niggas is always at an identifying point to try to link you with some shit. Gang banging was at a social high. It was real social then. Identification looking for you, nigga. Who was you?
Right.
What you got on that for? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, it did create some type of static. But I drew back to the times where we had a lot of fun. Where I was a small kid in the project.
Yeah.
So when we was going over there with Auntie, I was small. So you know what I mean? I spoke on the fun that we did have over there at that time period.
Yeah. Whatever you at, you're gonna have fun. Like I tell, you don't know what you come out of until you're removed out of it. You can just have a good look at it. When you get out of it, you be like, damn, we was in some bad shit. But while you're in it, those are your memories, man.
Because that's where you at.
Best times in my life happened in that place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, a lot of niggas didn't make it.
Yeah.
You would hear about all that stuff, but it didn't. You didn't feel the impact of dude just got hit with a 12 gauge who just left my mama's house. He on the 12th floor with his brain blown out. Or you're a kid, you kind of just keep moving. But as you get older, you think about it and say, damn, it was rough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, people lost their lives in the building.
Yeah, I remember, you know what I mean, people were talking about, shooting off the roof and all type of craziness and all type of stuff.
All type of shit, man. Here's another thing. Coming up in the 80s, man, I can't remember the years. We had a couple 1,100 murder years.
Yeah, Chicago was worse back then.
There wasn't many automatic weapons then. People were getting killed from being violated. Hit a motherfucker so hard his bowels burst. Stabbings. People died a lot of, notorious ways. And wasn't just to gun all the time. A lot of those deaths with knives, fights, beat to death, stoned to death, strangulation. Getting dope fiend, getting hit motherfucker with battery acid. They didn't did that before.
Jesus.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So Chicago's always been a wild city. It's just not a media. It's focused on that. Why? Because it's more gun violence.
Okay, because it's gun
violence. Which is a national topic.
Right, you're right.
Gun violence. 1,000 murders, 800 of them because motherfuckers put them hands on you. Yeah. That's why young people scared to fight now. Motherfuckers scared. Motherfucker rather get shot than let a motherfucker get one of them punks.
What Jada Kid say to these young? We say young niggas scared to get punched in their faces so they keep a burn on them and catch a couple of cases.
Because now, what another man dominated you. This era is so weak, man. Motherfucker can't say nothing. Just imagine you got shot. A dude shot me, I survived. I don't know why they give each other points for shit like that.
Yeah.
Now, if it's back to old days where you gotta shoot you, now your homies come to see you and they see big man that tenderized your ribs and your face look like lunch meat. He done ran over you.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't no coming back from that. That's why they rather shoot than go through that.
Because that hand-to-hand combat is not a...
Niggas picked up the gun. In my era, little niggas weren't whooping big niggas.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rare thing. I guess niggas is soft now. The gun balance thing out for a little nigga.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My day, big niggas put hands on you, nigga, and all of us was big.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some furniture moving, nigga. Ain't be no playing. That nigga walking away say he fought. A nigga, everybody with the black eyes, you bleeding somewhere, nigga. You finna get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would also say that I think that, you know, the music that even I listen to and all, you know, my little cousin who listen to has made Chicago the focal point of, like, the news, you know what I mean, the drill culture, the drill music era.
But they desensitized, you know, there's certain things that people didn't do, man. I hate to say it because it sounds crazy. Even though we were violent, but you had respect. Us talking about how a nigga got killed, how we did him, that never even came in a nigga mind from my coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm coaching. They talk about that like it's points. That clout word, act like clout is a new word. With clout been in the dictionary, but I guess the motherfucker doing anything for clout. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You couldn't pay me to talk about I just strangled this nigga last week.
Right.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Different culture, man. If Instagram was out back then, them niggas would be getting arrested. We would have went down too.
Right.
If we was foolish enough to take it, I don't know. Just different times. I just don't get it, man. Motherfucker getting indicted off rap.
You ready for me?
She's not even done with that. She's in grandma.
Man, they done left you.
I'm finna go out there, man. I'm finna go out there. But yeah, I'm thinking she probably.